Welcome back to Business Class. Today I've got a guest on that I am so excited to speak to. I've got Benjy Leslie on today. Hi, Benjy.
Hi.
Are you
Thanks
comfy?
for having me. I am comfy.
Amazing.
I am very comfy.
Amazing. We were just saying this is like a 360 spin from where you used to work, which we can get into in a minute. So we'll jump into his story shortly. Benjy is the founder and CEO of Connect Management and is someone who is widely recognised as one of the UK's best young bosses. Do you accept that?
I accept it, yeah.
Okay. At just 26 years old, Benjy has built Connect into one of the UK's fastest growing social talent management agencies, representing over 150 creators, employing 50 plus staff and delivering campaigns for some of the biggest global brands in the world. What sets him apart, though, is how he leads, famously investing 6 figures into his team, bonuses, experience, and building a culture where people feel genuinely valued. Today, we're going to get into that, the ups and the downs that come with running a business. So I always have to start with, like, where did this come from? How did you start? What is Benjy's story?
Right. So I guess you mentioned a 360 moment.
Yeah.
I started working for a company called Inc. And we essentially sold things like this, advertising for airlines. So I've been in the advertising world probably for about 9 years now, since I left school. So I understand what brands want. I understand essentially how to make things go viral online. Social media is our specialty. And I've always done it, I guess. Lockdown was like a big pivotal moment for me where I went from more traditional advertising to social. And I had a real passion for it. I got a call from one of my friends that I went to school with, and he was like, right, I've got 1 million followers on this thing called TikTok. What should I do? And initially I was like, what the fuck is TikTok? And when I looked at it, it was like young people dancing and like weird trends. And I was like, not sure. But we started working together, doing calls. He had a couple of sponsorships that he was working on, and I got involved and I guess added some formalities to the process. And after about 3 months, I realised, wow, this is an opportunity to actually turn this into a business. And then lockdown ended. There was loads of events. I went to as many events as I possibly could, getting my face out there, introductions through other influencers that we were working with, and just built from 5 to 10 to 20 to 50, and so on.
And so how long has this culture been going for of like, you know, so I found Benjy like this year. So I was like, you see the Range Rovers, like the big checks, like, has it always been that way, or has that been quite a new shift?
So that's something that I'm actually quite excited to be able to talk about it, because from day one, that has been my ethos of how I've run my business. And I think that, you know, I've only just hired Dana, who's behind the camera, full time now to run our social media this year. And we've got to this point 5 years where, you know, financially, when you're running a startup, you have to prioritize certain hires. And a full-time content creator wasn't a priority at that time, because we wanted more salespeople and accounts and legal and all these different things. So we've been doing it for 5 years. I just haven't really showcased it in the same way that I've showcased it this year. And obviously this year, our goal was eyeballs, both to bring new business to the company. We've had so many new brands that want to work with us off the back of the videos, but also our existing relationships. Like, brands value the fact that we treat our staff in a certain way. And it's obvious when you're working with someone that enjoys their job that they're going to go above and beyond, and they're going to want to work harder, both for the brand and for me. But you know, from day one, year one, I took my whole team. Bear in mind, there's only 4 of us, but I took us to the Maldives on an all-inclusive trip, and that was like, right, let's set a target. What do we all want to do? Maldives was like the dream for everybody, and it's like, cool, let's work out how we do that. And then, you know, year 2, then I started introducing holiday draws every single month, and you know, I've been doing this stuff 5 years straight, every single month in, month out. And a lot of stuff behind the camera as well that people just haven't seen. And I'm a big believer that, especially with young staff, you need to incentivize them. They need to feel wanted. They need to feel valued. And you need to motivate people. Like, at the end of the day, everybody pays people a salary. You're not going to walk into a job without getting paid. So how do we stand out from everybody else? And I understand what young people want, and that is cash, cool opportunities, and big prizes. And you look at someone like Mr. Beast, who's essentially revolutionised the content game by doing exactly that. I really see a gap in the market for entrepreneurs to do the same. Like when you sit at the end of the year and your profit margin, let's say, for an example, is £500,000.
Yeah.
Cool, you take all of that out of dividends, you have to pay 40% tax on it, all of this stuff, and that's in my pocket now. Cool, I can buy a new car, I can buy a new house, I can do this, I can do that, watches, whatever. Why would you not take a portion of that money and reinvest it back into the company to incentivize your staff, keep them happy, keep them motivated, reduce your tax bill as well? It's a lot of comments that I get. People say, oh my god, it's just a tax play. I mean, it's, first of all, any gifts are not a tax play, because you have to pay 40% tax for the staff member, unless you want them to be liable for the tax, which I don't want people to get a gift and then suddenly get smacked around the face with a 10 grand tax bill. So, you know, yes, it reduces our profitability as a company, but it also increases our tax liability. So, yeah, no, we've been doing it for a long time and it works. And I urge and I speak to so many different business owners, and maybe we'll speak off camera afterwards about how you potentially can do that for your staff, because genuinely it will take your business from here to there.
Yeah, because I've been in so many different minds about team, and I've always spoken really openly about that. I've found it a struggle because I do think there's this whole wave of like, you know, Gen Z employees versus like millennial employees and how they like to work differently. And sometimes I think I get advice from people who are like 40 plus, and I don't find a lot of people that are like my sort of age to ask these questions to. And I started out being like that, and I wanted everyone to work from wherever you want, you know, get cool holidays, like I did that at the start. And then I feel like I got pulled back down to earth a bit by those people going, Vic, it's just a job. Like, you don't need to be wasting your money on this. And then I felt really stupid, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. So, like, what's your take on, you know, has the management world changed? Should we be adapting to that? And what's your sort of comment back to those people that do, like, give you them silly comments?
I've been told no so many times. I've been told I'm stupid so many times. I'll give an example. When I set up in lockdown, I was told that if I got an in-person office, it would be a terrible mistake. I'd hemorrhage money, and I wouldn't be able to build a culture because no one would want to work from an office, because everybody works on Zoom now. I was so like against that. I was like, no, I want a hub. I want somewhere that the creators can come visit us, have strategy meetings, actually see that we're not just these sort of AI figures behind a screen. We're actually real people with real emotions, and you're building a relationship. I also wanted to create culture. I wanted somewhere where people could come and get away from their home lives. Listen, I might not be speaking for every single person on the planet, but as far as I'm concerned, when I sit at home and work from home, which does happen occasionally, I am bored senseless. I'm more miserable. I'm usually will end up eating more food because there's nothing to do. Like there's so many spiraling effects that happen from just sitting in a room all day, and whether people are accountable for that being true or not, getting out of the house, interacting with people on a different level is so much more valuable for your life. You make better connections, you make friendships deeper than just logging on at 9 a.m. and saying hello to somebody because they're there and you have to. And I hate the word like a business as a family, because there's so many people that have absolutely butchered that over the years and like create this fake culture where everything is like looks great from the outside. And I guess looking from the outside at my business, you potentially would think that as well, because the reputation of good business owners has been tarnished because people don't really see that as much, and you just see a business owner as somebody who's like a slimy person that at the end of the year tries to scrape as much money as possible, pays his staff as little as possible. Again, comments on our things like, well, you should pay your staff more instead of you know, giving them cars and this, that and the other. Cool. All of our staff get paid above market value. They also get a bonus structure which pretty much no other talent agency offers. All of our talent managers are paid uncapped commission on every single deal that they do, as well as all the wheel spins, all the holidays, all the cars. That stuff is just extra. That's what people don't understand. And like, we do go above and beyond for our staff, and that's why we've got such a strong retention rate. Like, don't get me wrong, people leave, like people go traveling, people want to change industry, whatever. There's different things that happen in people's lives, but the majority of our team has stuck around, and the core founding 10 people that were there from 2020 are all still here. And that's hard because they all get poached every single day, get different agencies who are much bigger than us, have much more money than us, can offer much more than us. Messaging them saying like, cool, are you ready for your next opportunity? But I feel like I've built such a relationship with my team that they know that I'm taking them on a journey to where they want to be. And I'm every step of the way, I've promised them certain things that I've stuck to. And I feel like that is also part of being a good leader, is if you're going to have a narrative and if you're going to offer or tell somebody about something, as soon as you go back on your word, you then don't have that trust anymore. So I'm somebody that is so honest in everything that I do, and I do my absolute best. If I say something, I do it.
And what do you think are like, I always love to go into the reality of business because it is hard, and especially with a job like that, I bet there are people that look at it and go, it's the dream job, everything's amazing, and they probably don't get that like sometimes it's hard work and like, you know, you're cracking on with it. So like has that ever created like false expectations and people are like, oh, I thought it was one way and it's the other way?
Listen, there's no one that works for me will tell you that working at Connect is an easy job. Like we work hard. Work hard, play hard. That's really the basis and the ethos of the company. You know, it's not a normal industry. So if you've got a campaign that goes live on Saturday, unfortunately you've got to work on Saturday. That's not me being an arsehole of a boss. That's just the reality of the job. And that comes with different challenges. You know, when we put out a job advert, we get about 600 applications for each job, because you see online not unrealistic expectations, but you see all the fun, but you don't see the work. And I think that there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes that sometimes people can come in and be like, oh shit, this isn't just like I get free stuff. There's actually an element of I have to graft here. But the people that graft are successful, and as I said, they're on schemes like uncapped commission or bonus schemes that allows them to really earn amazing money. And you know, we're not just changing influencers' lives, I'm changing my staff's lives as well. Like last year, 3 people that worked for me all bought their first property. Like for me, that's an amazing thing, and it shows that we're doing the right thing. And yes, the creators that we work with are so important, and it's a two-way street, and everything that we're doing, you know, earns them money and also earns the company money. But, you know, it's a partnership at the end of the day. And I feel like when you're working with people, you want everybody around you to succeed, or I do at least.
And do you feel like you've always been had that like tunnel vision? Like, does it get to you when, you know, things blow up and you get all these opinions and whatever, or have you always been like, I don't listen, that's the right thing?
No, I actually think I'm very good at taking advice. Like I'm good at listening, and I've got a lot of role models, coaches, mentors, people like my father in my life that, you know, I don't think I would be able to get to where I've got to without those people around me, because at the end of the day, I'm just a human as well. And, you know, there's no playbook of how to run a business. There's no like, do this, do that, say this. If this happens, this is what you do. Like it's, for me, and people may disagree, but the best leaders are people that are emotionally intelligent and are able to read a room. If you can understand what somebody that worked for you is thinking, then you're able to make decisions that can either alleviate pressure and stress or create opportunities that make them feel comfortable or at home or you know, motivated at work. So if you're able to read those scenarios, then you can make changes. And I always say to my senior team that sometimes your team is just like a chessboard. You've got the right pieces, but they're just in the wrong places. And for me, we've had people that have been in a certain role and we've moved them to a different role and suddenly they flourish. So I don't give up on people. I try to always give people, you know, the adequate chance. The same way my mentors, my you know, role models have given me chances, and I'll always listen to their opinion. Sometimes I'll completely ignore it and go with my way and just accept the fact that if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if I'm right, I'm right. And there's been plenty of times where I've had a conversation with my dad. My dad's a serial entrepreneur. He knows a lot about business. And I'll say, I'm doing this. And he'll go, you're fucking mad. What's wrong with you? The car, as an example, I had a budget. I was like, right, I'm going to spend 10 grand on this car. And I ended up spending close to 20. And he was like, you're mental. Like, why can't you just give away a Mini Cooper or something like that? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I just feel like I'm making a massive investment. And if I really want this video to do well, I understand social. I think that if it was a Range Rover or something similar, that video is going to do 10 times better. And that was just a decision that I made. And that decision has led to loads more business, about 6 million impressions across social. As I said, 600 applications for every job. And so many other ripple effects that have added positive stuff to our business.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that I aspire to do for my team, and I want to learn the benefits of it, because you do get made to feel like stupid when you do all this. Like I remember when I first blew up on socials, it's because I was like one of the first Gen Z managers to talk about how there shouldn't be this strict structure, and it should almost work for them so they get the work done, and everyone's like, this business isn't going to last a year, and people make the comments on it. Do you ever feel like, because I know there's this constant conversation of that kindness can be taken for weakness, and you got to be sort of firm but fair as a leader, like have you ever felt like the generosity and kindness has been taken for granted, or people have, you know, pushed it as far as they can? Or do you think that being so kind and fair actually makes them, you know, respect you more, and it has more benefits to it?
It's a great question, because that's part of a conversation that I've had with many, I don't want to say older people, but people that are not of our age group. And, you know, the first thing that they'll always say is, you know, people are just going to take advantage of you. You know, it will get to a point where you can't level it up, and then you're going to get stuck, and then people will fuck you off and blah, blah, blah. But from my perspective anyway, I've always wanted to do it, right? If people aren't loyal to me because of that, then that's just sort of part of it, and I will just accept that, and I will find people that want to be loyal. People that have been loyal to me, that have stuck around me, have had massive, you know, positive things happen to them in their lives. Now, I'm not saying that's purely because of me. I'm not, but things that I do for people, I go above and beyond, and you know, if I say I'm going to do something, like I said before, I do it. So it's part and parcel with anything. You know, I've had friends that fuck me over. There's so many things that can happen, relationships, whatever. You just have to kind of take it in your stride, otherwise everything will knock you down. You know, I've had relationships with creators that have gone sour, relationships with staff that have gone sour. It does happen, and you have to be able to take these things in your stride. If I turn around and say I'm not going to do any of these nice things because 5% of the people perceive it or take it in a negative way, then 95% of people are missing out. And it's the same in every business that I run. Like I'm an investor and a director of a football club, and right now we're not winning, right? So we're struggling, and the whole fan forum and conversations, whatever, is just negative, horrible stuff about the managers, and sack this person, sack that person, or whatever. And the reality is, you've got to just accept the fact that sometimes people are going to be negative. Like if you're not in a good place yourself, the best thing you can do for yourself usually is you take it out on other people, because it makes you feel better. But it makes you feel better for a second. It doesn't actually change anything. And I'm a believer of not worrying about what those types of people think or say, because at the end of the day, they'll still be stuck in their bedroom drinking Gatorade, playing PlayStation, and I'll be, you know, flying around, traveling, enjoying my life, changing people's lives, making money, doing fun stuff. So you've got to have thick skin in this industry. I say it to everybody that I work with, like, people, not everyone's going to like you. Like you can't, even in a traditional workplace, when you go to work, this reality that we've got, this false reality that everybody's kind to each other. It's not. When I worked for my dad, you know, it's a 150 person sales floor. 10% of people were nice to me. The rest of them were just like, oh, it's the boss's son. Fuck him. I don't want to speak to him. Like, and that's just the reality of work. But I think we've got this fake image that's been painted to us on social that, like, everybody's friendly to each other, and you know, nobody's ever going to disagree with you, or like, I believe in this, you believe in that, so we can't have a conversation. But for hundreds of years, people have had different beliefs or different thoughts on different scenarios, and have been able to coexist and go about their normal day. It's just because we have social now that everybody projects their feelings online, that people feel certain ways about people. So
what do you think of the misconceptions people have about Gen Z and the way that we work?
Well, the one thing I hear all the time is that Gen Z is lazy. And I would go as far as to say, as I think if they're motivated in the right way, they're the opposite of lazy. I think they go above and beyond in all ways, shapes or forms. Like I have people that work for me. We did a video yesterday asking people, you know, that trend of like, when were you born? And like 2005, 2002. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so. And I was born in 1999, which is not old at all. And they're like, oh my God, you're ancient. Fuck. But, you know, these people traditionally would be perceived as, you know, lazy. They're young. All they care about is social media and being on their phones and whatever. But actually, maybe I'm lucky because I'm in an industry that they're all passionate about, right? So it's something that they've grown up around and it's something that excites them. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, we set really high targets and they're all motivated to go out and hit them, and they work above and beyond to get these holidays and cars and all these things. So I don't see that at all. I just think that times are changing, and you know, if you try and motivate a 19-year-old in the same way you would motivate a 35-year-old that's been working in, let's say, sales for 10 years, it's not going to work. But you know, these old school bosses are not willing to change their management styles. So if you don't change your management styles and you don't curate and sort of carve out a way to treat somebody based on who they are as an individual, then you're never going to get the best out of somebody. And I try to treat each person that I work with as individuals. It's super hard, but especially now when I've got to 50, because there's just so much that goes on, and there's so many conversations that I want to be part of that I can't. But for me, it's about sharing my knowledge with my senior leadership team. So as that trickles down the business, we keep as much of my beliefs as possible.
What do you think for you, since you've started the business and been a leader, has been either like the biggest mistake that you've made, or a lesson you've learned that you wish you could have known sooner, or that I need to know?
I mean, I've made so many mistakes. Like, I think that there's this misconception that people don't make mistakes, or successful people have never made mistakes. Like, I've invested in things that have gone so badly. I invested 3 years ago in a content house, and we got 6 creators in house, 6 boys, and it was going to be like the next big thing, whatever. I put loads of cash into it, and it just flopped. The boys ended up literally smashing the living shit out of the house. We were like getting sued by the rental company and all this. Like, it was a nightmare. And you know, you kind of just learn from it. Like, I wouldn't make a rash decision or investment like that again. And you know, there's so many other things that we've done that haven't worked. Like, I'm happy to like have my hand on my chest and just admit it. Like, these things, doing things that haven't worked, are part of the reason that you build a thick skin, that you're able to walk into a room and understand what not to say. Like, you don't know what not to say in a meeting until you say something that you shouldn't say. You get told off by somebody and then realize, shit, okay, I shouldn't do that again. So you have to make these mistakes. You have to say something wrong. You have to push too hard on a deal, or not chase enough, or whatever. Like, there's so many things that you can do that you kind of just have to live it. And then once you've lived it and you've experienced it, you have to be strong enough to learn from it. I think people that aren't successful, in my opinion, are exactly the same as someone like me or you. The difference is they'll make mistakes and not learn from it, and they'll just keep doing the same things. And that is, I guess, the definition of insanity. But like, if you don't progress and learn from mistakes, you're never going to level yourself up. You shouldn't be scared of making mistakes. You should be scared of making the same mistake multiple times. That's how I feel anyway. Yeah,
definitely. And I think as well, like, it's harder nowadays because of things like personal brands, and because there's like this whole new wave of leaders that are in our 20s. We're documenting it, and people have got so many opinions, and it's like we're not allowed to make a mistake. But if you look at the people who are like 50 and have been in business for like 20, 30 years, they made all those mistakes, they just didn't document it.
But I think that's part of the reason of that is that those people don't talk about their mistakes. Whereas I'm happy to talk about them. Like, it's part of me. I'm not perfect. You know, not everything I do turns to gold. I wish it did. Almost. But yeah, like, you've got to learn. If you don't learn, you're not moving forward.
And like, in terms of personal brands and you sharing your story, what did you make that conscious effort to build a personal brand, or do you still sometimes have that fear of because, you know, if you put yourself out there now, the risk of being cancelled, being tied too closely to the brand, things like that. What's your thoughts on that?
I make a conscious effort this year to be more active for myself. I think I've spent the last 4 years sort of in the trenches, building out the business and building out the team. We're at a stage now where, you know, we've got a fully fledged legal team, accounts team. We've got people that run campaigns. We've got talent managers. We've got senior leadership team that operate the business. So we're at a point now where I can now focus on marketing the business, marketing myself, and really just talking about what we're doing. And part of that decision is, you know, hiring Dana to work full time on the content, and she's doing a smashing job thus far. We were saying today, since she started 1st of Jan, our engagement on all of our content's gone up by 394%.
Job well done.
So,
that is bro.
So it just shows you, and you know, we're in a digital world now.
Yeah.
No one knows what you're doing unless you document it. Something that I've been doing for the last year and a half is we've got 3 days a week camera crews in the office recording literally all of our meetings, disciplinary meetings, SLT meetings, pitches, legal calls, everything. And eventually, like, I think we'll get to a point where someone will come and invest some money in us. You know, we're completely bootstrapped. We've never taken a penny of investment from anybody. So there comes a point where it's like, right, how do we set up Connect in New York, or how do we set up Connect in Australia, whatever, that requires serious funds. And there's a level that you can grow at based on just reinvesting profits. And sometimes you need a cash injection to basically get yourself to that next level. So I feel like at that point, maybe in 2 years' time, something like that footage I'll then get edited into some form of documentary, and it will show the process of from nothing to getting bought out and being this big company that I've always dreamt of having.
What would you say day to day are the things now that you still struggle with or that stress you out? Because I think it's really easy for people to look at you and be like, wow, he's got it all, he's so successful, and you're just like, we're still figuring it out.
Lots of things I struggle with. I would say wanting to be over everything is one of the hardest things, especially when you've got 50 people. It's so hard to not try and get involved in everything, but sometimes you have to just let people that work for you crack on with it, and if they make a mistake, then I'm there to clean stuff up. And that mentality is quite difficult as a founder, because in my head I'm like, but why would I wait till someone cocks up? Like, why would I wait for that? But actually, going back to the failing, if they don't make that mistake, then they're not going to get better at their job. So I for all of my staff listening, I don't want you to make mistakes, but when you do make mistakes, as long as we don't make the same mistake multiple times, I'm understanding of the fact that you know, that's part of growth. So yeah, trying to be over everything. You know, I've had to disconnect myself a lot. You know, when I started the business, I did the website design, I did the accounts, I did the legal. I remember negotiating £100,000 contract and saying to the client, bear with me, I'm going to send this to our legal team. And then I use ChatGPT to legal it and then send it back. Here's our notes from the legal team, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I've gone from that to now having loads of people that can do this stuff for me. It's almost a feeling of laziness internally and a bit of imposter syndrome as well, I think, of like, no, I'm capable of doing that, I should do it. When actually, no, you need to delegate so that I can come and do things like this and talk to people and build networks and spread positivity about the business. So yeah, it's just a mental switch, I guess, of understanding that I'm not really in startup mentality anymore. I'm now moving into sort of the next phase of business, which is how do I focus on growth and scale whilst the people that I employ are doing a great job running the day to day.
And what does, so, you know, we think of in our heads like a successful business owner and they wake up at 5 a.m. and they have the green smoothie and blah, blah, blah. What does your day to day look like? I love to ask people, like, is it different? Have you got like non-negotiables? Is there routine? Like, what does it look like?
Listen, everybody has their own routine and different things will work for different people. I'm not a 5 a.m. guy, right? I won't wake, like, if you wake me up at 5 a.m, I'll probably get annoyed with you. Right? It's just like, I that's not how I work best. And actually, I tend to work best late at night sometimes. And I think it's easy to see, like, I come into the office, I get there for 9:30, I'll have meetings, I might have lunch meeting, dinner meeting, whatever. So that's what people see. But then you go home and then there's another 3 hours of work that, to me, it's not really work. It's like flicking through a few emails and just making sure this person did that and this, just like basic stuff. Yeah. But to other people, that's a real dramatic change in your lifestyle. And it does affect things like relationships, friendships, all of these different things that, I don't want to say I've put it on hold, but like I've been very much focused on business. Yeah. So I've got myself to a position where a lot of the other things in my life I haven't focused on. And that's what I was saying to you this year is like personal brand, growth, all of these things, taking back my life a little bit. Yeah. But then with that comes all of this imposter syndrome of like, oh, my team going to think now that, you know, I've built my business to a certain stage and now he's lazy because, you know, he's not in 1 day a week or whatever. And that's something that I deal with a lot with therapists, with coaches, with mentors, to be like, I know I'm not lazy. I literally work more than anybody else I know, yet I still have this thing in the back of my head, which is like, are people thinking that I'm just a fucking piece of shit and I'm not doing anything?
Yeah, about the exact same thing.
And that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And I would say that's probably one of the hardest things of founder mentality is like, it's lonely. And I'll say something to a friend and they don't understand. And it's not because they don't want to understand. They just can't comprehend what that feels like. What it feels like to go into a meeting and tell someone they don't have their job anymore and watch them cry and beg and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a stressful scenario that you probably, you know, and then your friend can say, oh yeah, well, my girlfriend broke up with me and that happened, blah, blah, blah. It's not the same because you're dealing with someone's livelihood. You're dealing with so much more than just a relationship. So yeah, it's a lonely old business. But there's also so many perks. Like I get to live the life that I want to live. I can travel. I've got the nice cars. I've got the nice watches. I've got a lifestyle that most people would aim to get to. And I've been able to do that at 26. So there's sacrifice, there's benefit, and I don't think it will ever go away. I think you just got to understand that you've got to work on these things.
I've had the exact same thing. Like when I was starting, I've never, ever, ever been a morning person. Like not even, I even struggle to wake up at like 8, half 8, like I feel just so groggy. And one of my business mentors was like, well, this is your business, you should make it work for you. Why are you like forcing yourself to get in every day for like 8 or 9? So I now have like a morning routine of I get up like half 8, I'll go and do a yoga class because that's how I sweat my stress out. Like I have to get it all out. And our stress levels are so high all the time as well. Like we can become seriously unwell if we don't look after that. So I do that and then I'll do a bit of work at home and then I'll get in for 11. And I had this whole thing of, oh my God, my team think I'm so lazy. They think I don't work, but I will work from like 11 a.m. till like 8 p.m, 9 p.m, 10 p.m. Like it's constant. And I was like, I feel like I have to justify that to them, but you don't. Like it's, you know, it's your business, but it's always there, isn't it? That mindset, which is really bad.
If I had the answers, I would tell you because I still feel it every day. And it's just something that I'm accepting. Like even you said you'd go to yoga or whatever. Like I've started this year now, new me, like got to get into shape, be healthy, whatever. And I started going to the gym in the mornings. It means that instead of getting to the office sometimes for 9:30, a couple of days a week, I'm there for 10. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to think that I'm late every day. And then someone's going to be late and I'm going to tell them off for being late. And then they're going to turn around to me and say, you were late on Tuesday. And it's like, all right, but you know, you don't understand. So that's just founder mentality. It's good to have networks of people that, you know, can speak about these things. I'm very blessed and lucky that, as I said, I've got my father, I've got my mentors, but also I've got friends that are entrepreneurs as well. And, you know, just going for a dinner and just talking about what the fuck happened this week is such a relief sometimes. And me and my friend Brandon, like we often say that like if we didn't have each other in some of these situations, like we probably would have mental breakdowns. And I've also had my fair share of mental breakdowns as well. Like I think that there's this image of me or business owners online that's like we're really strong and powerful and blah blah blah, and we are 90% of the time. But there's also times where you actually just don't know what the fuck to do, and you end up just having a breakdown about it. and that's also normal. And I think
Yeah,
that
definitely.
it's good to talk about that stuff, because then you get young entrepreneurs. And I spoke to someone who was like 19, and they were telling me they were really struggling and this, that, and the other. And I was like, listen, I'm 26 and I still have moments like that where I'm struggling and I'm like literally pulling my hair out. Like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
So you can't expect to know everything. And I think the only way that, for example, that kid knows that, okay, it's actually all right to feel that way, is by speaking to somebody that's also going through it. I think there probably should be a better network for young entrepreneurs. Maybe that's something that we can work on together to build out. But yeah.
What do you think has been, if you can touch on it, like if you think back to like all the problems you've had, everything that's happened, is there something that stands out for you as the hardest thing you've been through in business, and how did you navigate that? Like, has there been a time so far where you've been like, I don't know if I can push through that? Like, that's some tough shit.
There's not been anything where it's like, I don't know if I can push through that. But there's been some times where I've sat in a quiet room and I've thought, what the fuck am I doing on this for? Like, why am I putting myself through this? I've had success, I've made some money now, I could just fuck off. Let's just sell it, fuck off, and that's it. And then I realise, well, no, actually, there's so many people that rely on me. I love what I do. Like, the relationships that I have with both, you know, the talent on our roster, like, a lot of them are close friends of mine, and I have such unbelievable relationships. My staff, over Christmas, we were shut from the 19th to the 5th of Jan, right? I literally missed every single person, and people are messaging in our work group chat like, can't wait to come back to the office and see everybody. And I just, like, the relationships that we've built, I just don't think that you can replace that. So
opposite, what's the proudest or best moment? He's on the spot now.
There's so many things that I'm proud of. I'm proud of, this might sound a bit soppy, but I'm proud of like actually going all in with what I was doing. Like there was a point in lockdown where I could have made this a side hustle, or I could have said like, yeah, that was nice, I made a bit of money, now let's go back to employment. And I took the risk to quit a job that was, okay, let's be candid, well paying. It was at a company that my father owned. I had a potential opportunity to rise in the ranks and, you know, become quite senior in a big business. I'd already bought a flat. Like, there's a misconception that Connect is the reason that I have money. You know, I was actually quite successful before Connect. I had a couple of businesses in school that I made quite a bit of money on, and I then went into the working world and spent 4 years grinding. I've done so many jobs. Like, I've worked in a bagel shop, I've worked in an old age home, I've literally done everything. I've done advertising, sales, I've worked in a magazine company. I did 3 weeks like proper work experience at somewhere like Sky, and I got offered a job there. You know, my journey could have been so different. I could have been working as an account manager in Sky. Like, it could have happened. So I'm proud of myself for going all in, and people underestimate what it takes to actually go all in the business and spend, especially when you have no team, just nights at home on your own, wondering whether it's worth it or not. And, you know, pushing through those moments where there's no money in the company bank account and you've got to pay payroll at the end of the month and you're like, what the fuck am I going to do? And all these different things. Like, I've been through all of it, and I'm proud that I pushed through the other side of it. And now I'm getting to, I guess, reap the rewards of that.
Definitely.
But you have to go all in. Like, you can't, I don't believe that you can do anything to a high standard if you're not fully committed to actually doing it. You have to be like, okay, I'm going to give this everything I've got. And that will be a good judge of whether that's going to be successful or not. If you give it everything and it's not going anywhere, maybe that's a sign to pivot and do something else. Not give up on your dream, but maybe you need to change the way you're doing it, or change your strategy, or, you know, look at a different product or a different service or whatever.
Do you think some people have just kind of got it instilled in them, or they've not? Like, you know, I'm sure people ask you all the time, like, how do I start this, or should I do that? Do you think it's just you've got it or you've not? Or do you think it can be taught, that sort of delusional thinking and that mindset?
I think it's a very hard thing to teach. especially from a perspective of like, actually, I'll go back on that. Sales wise, so from a perspective of going and winning clients, I've been taught all of that from the ground up. That's not something I possessed before I, knew about what it was. So I've had people that have taught me that, and I've sort of started to pivot and create my own style of how I then do meetings. So from that perspective, yeah, you can teach someone to be good at something, especially like to run a business or whatever. But the compassion, the care, the emotional intelligence, the work ethic, the grit, all of that stuff, I don't think you can teach that. I think you've either got it in your belly or you don't. Like, are you willing to do things that go above and beyond? Are you willing to, take on a client that is not going to make you any money for a month, but you really want to get into a relationship with them, and that down the line that's going to make you money? Are you willing to take those risks? And a lot of people will say, I don't want to work for free. Or I hear it all the time, I don't want to do work experience for free. Cool. I did 3 or 4 free jobs for only a couple of weeks. I'm not saying work for free for months on end, but for a couple of weeks to build relationships and to find someone that goes, I'll take a chance on you. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people have almost become self-entitled, feeling like they deserve to be successful, they deserve to be wealthy. When actually, if you look at anybody who's got money, bar 1% of people that potentially like get stuff handed down or whatever, which again, another conversation, but I don't understand people that have a go at someone that's been, let's say, handed down money from their parents, because you can very easily piss that all down the drain in 5 minutes as well. Like, you hear of these sports people that have hundreds of millions of pounds. Bruno Mars, he's in loads of debt with the Vegas casinos at the moment because he's spent all his money and he's now doing shows to pay it off or whatever. Like, you hear of these people that have abnormal amounts of money, way more money than anything I've even seen in my bank account, that it's gone overnight, right? So, like, you can almost like have it in you, but there's also like an element of, you need to know what to do when you get put in these positions. Nothing's easy,
especially now with, I mean, you'll know about this more than anyone, but everyone wants to be an influencer and a creator, and that's got a fun reputation online. What for you like separates these people that are just starting out, like, I want gifted stuff, I want free holidays, versus the people you see where it's like a career and it's a business and they're making like millions of pounds from it?
I mean, we launched something called Connect Academy. I don't know if you saw it, but it's essentially us backing people who want to be content creators. Something that we obviously get all the time is people reaching out like, how do I do this? Like, how do I become a content creator? How do I quit my job and make this a full-time thing? And the truth is, anyone can do it, right? You've got to have a passion or something that you want to make content about, and then you've got to understand the basics behind social media strategy, which obviously that's your bread and butter, right? And there are formulas and things that you can do to go viral and to grow a page. That's obvious. We're a business. We have a business page. People shouldn't follow a business page. It's boring as fuck. Yeah, we've still got 200,000 followers. Why? Because we make good content. So anyone can go viral and make good content. I think what sets the difference and what we're looking for from an academy perspective, and I got the idea from the football club because I realised all of our best players were coming through the academy, and I was like, right, this makes sense now to have our own version of that within the business. What we see is, one, an understanding of the social media landscape, but two, ability to talk to camera. I think it's the most important thing, is being able to sit and actually sell something to somebody, build trust, build relationships. You have so many of these voiceless, faceless content creators, and they're like, why can't I make any money? Why does no brands want to work with me? How are you meant to sell Nescafe's new coffee if you can't fucking talk about it? Sorry for my swearing, I swear a lot.
We love a swear.
That's also another thing that I don't usually apologise for it. Even in meetings, I was in a really corporate meeting the other day, and I was like, just letting you guys know, I will swear every other word, but that's just because I'm passionate.
We love that. I'll accept that. So, what do you think that brands don't understand about influencers? So, like, I'd say I'm a new business influencer now. Like, I've started working with brands, and from someone that understands the social strategy, sometimes it infuriates me a bit that brands, they have these set guidelines they want you to follow.
Yeah.
But in my social head, I'm like, well, this isn't going to perform. Like, this is so like foreign to what I normally post. Like, what do you think brands aren't getting yet about influencers, and what should we push back on?
We have it a lot. Obviously, we're running like just under 1,000 campaigns a month across
Wow.
multiple influencers. So like, we understand sometimes that brands have guidelines and there's certain things they want to get across. As talent managers, it's our job to relay how the talent best believes that the content will perform.
Yeah.
So for example, your content, how it will perform. You would probably go back to that email and say, cool, appreciate that's your idea, but this is how I would do it and I think it will perform better.
Yeah.
If the brand then pushes back and says, no, we want you to do it this way, that talent or you have to then make a decision whether you want to take the money and just do as you're told and accept the fact. And I would say to them, cool, no problem, we'll run with it, but just letting you know it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. And that's up to them. And we have loads of scenarios where the brand will then come back and go, why do you think it didn't perform? And it's like, well, we told you you should do it in a different way and you didn't listen to us. So I think there's definitely an educational piece to be done. Another business I launch, I know I'm just talking about all these different businesses I launch, but part of Connect, we have an agency. The same as, there's loads of traditional agencies that will do deals for different influencers. And we're retained by the likes of Aldi, Honda, Live Nation, all these different brands, big brands. And because we're in control of the social strategy, the campaigns do really well because we are creating these strategies based on an understanding of social, not just a traditional. A lot of these brands have traditional PR and marketing agencies that have been doing billboard, TV, PR, all these different things, but they don't really understand what works on social. So you'll then get a 10-man production crew that turns up to a social shoot to shoot it in the wrong ratios and all this stuff, and then it gets posted. A great example was the Land Rover collab that they did with what's his name? The guy from Top Boy. Anyway,
I know the Top Boy.
Yeah, I can't
but
remember.
not the name.
Anyway, they did it, and it was like probably like their worst performing ad because it was just too crisp and well shot, and it was beautiful. If you put that on television, it would have flown. And I think a lot of the time that's the reason why these briefs come in that way, because traditionally that's how it would work. But you've got to push back. You've got to stand up for what you're saying. But the brands that we have on an agency side, we're curating these briefs, and something that we've just introduced that is really cool is a lot of the time briefs come in a PDF form, so it's basically like a static images. Like, it looks like it's been created.
They're all overwhelming to look through.
So we've created this new thing, which is a phone brief that literally is that way. I don't know what is it, vertical? Vertically, and it's compatible with a phone, and it's got video examples, and it's really clean because we understand what our creators interact with best when they receive a brief. So now we've created these briefs for our brands that when it goes over to these content creators, they're like, oh, okay, I know how I can do this in my way. And we're always asking the content creators, how would you, like, this is your channel, you're doing the brand collab, this is the messaging they want to get across, but how would you do this? And we try as much as we can to treat each person on the campaign as an individual, so that obviously the messaging is the same throughout, but so that you're not trying to just cram a triangle into a square hole, basically.
Do you ever have to stop working with creators, like if they aren't meeting your standards?
Yeah, all the time.
And what would class as, like, to you, someone that you work with that's successful and does well, and then someone that you maybe think they're not really the right fit anymore?
It's a really competitive industry. I think that there's this thing in talent management where some creators will just hop from agent to agent because they do well, and then they feel a bit stagnant, and then they go and try and find a new agent, and then they realize the grass wasn't green, and then they try to come back, and then they come back, and then they want this opportunity and they don't get it, and then they go somewhere. So that is a reality of talent management. I've got a really nice stat. Literally 95% of talent that have left us have come back.
Really?
Yeah. We have taken back, I think, 20 influencers that left and came back, and a couple just, the relationship wasn't there, whatever. There's a few expectations. Like, it's a two-way street. You can say, you're my agent, you should be getting me work. 100%, we should be. But if you're not posting consistently, if your content's not good, if you're not listening to our strategies, I've sat down with a creator 4 times a year, given them strategies, and they've taken 0 of the advice, and then they go, well, why haven't I earned what I wanted to earn? And it's like,
What do you expect?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. That old
Yeah.
saying, like,
Yeah.
so. And there's many times where we say, cool, like this isn't working. And at the end of the day, it's a business. My talent managers want to make money.
Yeah.
I want to make money as a business. So it needs to be a two-way street. The talent has to be is really well. And it's not just about money. It's about opportunities. We hired a guy at the start of the year from Fontwell, which is James Corden's production company,
Wow.
to lead all of our TV and entertainment. And since he started, you know, we've managed to get so many opportunities for talent on TV shows and building out their own formats and shows. And, you know, we're working with our clients at the moment on about 3 or 4 different businesses to create clothing ranges and all these different things that go beyond just brand deals. We've built up a really good reputation that we've got great relationships with brands. That's our bread and butter, as we earn people lots of money, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is, I think that because we've got such a strong sales network, that when creators are with us, they obviously make a lot, but then sometimes there's things that happen that are like, oh, I really want to go on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, or I really want to do this, that and the other. And these things take time, and those relationships build over time. But another agent will come along and say, I guarantee I'll get you that. Definitely. 100%. So they go, and then they realise, okay, I might be getting myself towards a path of getting to that show, but in the meantime, I've literally earned no money because this company doesn't have the brand reputation or whatever. So, you know, I'm doing my best as a company to build out and hire as many people as possible that can impact and create as much opportunity for our talent as possible. I'm sure that the TV and entertainment team is going to grow massively because there's a massive opportunity in TV this year. Angry Ginge winning I'm a Celebrity is huge for our industry. You know, I don't care that he's not signed to me. I'm buzzing for him and for his talent agency because I know off the back of it they're going to get even more incredible opportunities, which puts on so many other people in the industry. And there's 2 ways of looking at it. You'll have some creators that will look at it and be like, oh, fucking, I'm really jealous of him, I really want it. Or you have people that will go, he's a pioneer in our industry and he's managed to create opportunities now that we can follow. And a lot of other shows are now going to start taking these social first talent. And you're going to see a lot more of them, like George Clark on Strictly and all these different things. Like, it's becoming a reality. And it's what they need because they can't pull in the younger audiences. It's the same 40, 50, 60-year-olds that watch it every night. Great. But when they die, who's watching it?
Yeah, literally.
Right? So you're creating a business that's going to die in 40 years. Or you take action now and you bring in people that, yes, cool, Sandra, who's 65 from fucking Cheshire, is sitting on her couch, probably doesn't care about George Clark. She will do at the end of the show once she understands like gets to know him. But she's probably thinking, who is that? Right? But that's the same with the older people, that you got younger people watching and going, who the hell is that? I've never seen them before. So, you know, there comes a point where I think TV has now realised, a lot of the big production companies anyway, it's like, when we're doing our casting, cool, we can have our older skewing audiences, but we need to have a couple of social creators in there as well. And we're seeing that from all the casting conversations that are going on.
Interesting. What do you think about how influencers and creators, like how that economy is going to grow? Because I know now it's the biggest it's ever been. Like, people want to be a creator, people want to be an influencer, everyone's trying to do it. Some people are also saying that
300 requests a day through our website of either I'm a creator with X amount of followers.
That's insane.
Or I want to be a creator.
It's mad. It's just huge.
It's actually not possible to go through them all.
But it's huge, isn't it? Like, do you think it'll keep getting bigger? Do you think that it's going to become harder to get into it because everyone wants to do it? And
I think that it's quite a saturated industry because, as you say, everyone's trying to do it. There's a select number of people that are actually successful. Right. There's a lot of people online that look successful but actually are struggling. So don't be swayed or convinced by the flashy private jets and you know, the cars and all of this stuff. Like, a lot of the time people are doing that to try and just make ends meet. So, you know, it can take its toll on people. The ones that are successful, in my opinion, are creators that are not just focused on themselves, but focused on building a brand and a team around them.
Yeah.
How do I hire full-time a videographer? How do I get an editor on board? How do I get a script writer? How do I get someone that manages my admin so that I can go out and film more content? All of these things and build a team. How do I build out my own podcast studio so then I can start doing, like, you look at someone like Burnt Chip and Cal Freezy with Fellas Studios. That business will probably sell for X amount of millions of pounds. They're successful creators. They've made loads of money, but that will dwarf everything else that they've done because it's got bigger growth opportunity and it's bigger than just them. So I think that creators that think about, you know, another thing, Molly May, right? I know she's obviously one of the biggest creators in the country, but all the different businesses that she's built off the back of her brand are what is building her wealth and longevity in the industry. If she just stayed as somebody that did Get Ready With Me videos, there would be a point where her sell by date would come. Right? She's the one, her team, and again, she's got a team around her, is the reason that she's still relevant and that she's able to continue to build businesses and do everything that she's doing. So, you know, taking it seriously, you know, not just taking all of your money and buying cars and all of these things that make you look successful on the outside, but actually when stuff dries up because you haven't been creative or willing to make changes, you're now just left with a load of materialistic items that take it from someone that has a lot of these things. When the door's shut at the end of the day and you're in your house, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I've got nice watches, I've got all these things. It doesn't actually matter. It's nice to have. I have them, I think, because it's like I've always had this aspiration to achieve them. Like that's been my driver for a long time. It's like I want the convertible car, I want the watches, I want this and the other. And then once you've got it, it just becomes a bit of a novelty. And I'm really grateful for it and I love it and I wouldn't change it. But I think that there's so many more important things that matter.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think longevity is so much more important than a quick bit of novelty. Right? Buy yourself a nice car, buy yourself the watches, but focus on investments first. How do I get invested or into bed with people in a like business relationship? Right? How do I invest in creating my own brand? How do I start a podcast so I'm not just reliant on monetization and ad revenue? How do I don't know, there's so many things. Can I get into live streaming? Can I do this? Can I do that? So if you're able to create a real portfolio of places that make you money as a creator, then everything else will build longevity. If you're just focused on making a quick buck, there's a sell by date to that. And people are finding that out. You see so many people that were relevant last year that are not relevant now.
What do you guys look for when you're going through these hundreds and thousands? Like, what are your key checkpoints?
Sentiment's a big thing, like looking at the comments and seeing that they have people that are actually engaging with what they're doing, not just like putting emojis or hearts or whatever, like in the nicest way possible and respect to all of these people. There's a lot of, let's say, very pretty girls that make content online that will get loads of people that like it or engage with it. What is the purpose of that content?
There's no substance.
There's no substance, and it doesn't lead to anything that has an opportunity to turn into a business. Potentially OnlyFans, stuff like that, I don't know. But from a commercial standpoint, it's very baseline. So, you know, you need to be able to make content that creates conversations, that builds an engaged audience, and that talking to camera bit is so important. Like they need to be a spokesperson, a salesperson for these brands. And that's something that I instill in all of our talent is like, you need to get yourself confident speaking to camera. A lot of them are already when they come to us, but the ones that aren't, I'm like, no, you need to get on that. Otherwise it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get the success that you want. And then also just work ethic is a really important thing. Like when we have our initial calls with people, what time are they setting up that call? I can only speak at 3:00. Okay, why is that? It's because you woke up at 12, right? Or, you know, getting messages really late. And I don't know, there's lots of different things that you can understand someone's work ethic. Like a lot of the people that we work with, you know, you got someone like Grime Gran. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't think so.
But she's 87, something like that.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
And you know, you wouldn't from the outset, you just think that she's a lovely lady that drinks tea and whatever, but actually she's the biggest grinder that you'll ever see. Like, she is hustling 12-hour shoot days, like, and people see the success, like see her interviewing Chris Hemsworth and Margot Robbie and all these people, and you think, oh, you know, maybe her agent's done a good job, or she's just lucky or whatever. But no, that lady has worked so hard to get the positions that she's got. And then what you miss behind that is her grandson, Bo, who creates all the content and does all the editing, and you know, that essentially is a team that works with her. So you've got to find people that are willing to go the extra mile in a commercial way as well, that want to build out relationships with you, and then also loyalty. We don't want to work with someone for a year and then them not work with us again. Yeah. Like, we want to know that, cool, you're in this for the long run with us. How do we stick together and build out something that's life changing? And something that I do, no one else in the industry does this, is I have open-ended contracts for influencers, which basically means if an influencer messages me, regardless of the terms, if they message and say, I don't want to be managed by you anymore, the contract is ripped up within that day. There's no perpetuity. There's no sunset clauses. There's no, because you've worked with that brand last month, you now have to give us everything you earn from that brand. I don't believe that's how you build relationships with people. I don't believe that's how you treat people fairly, right? So if someone's not happy with what we're doing, go. Absolutely no problem. And the respect that we've managed to gain from doing that has, one, allowed us to take a load of creators back who have gone and then been admitting the fact that they've made a mistake. But two, we've got a reputation of being really trustworthy and just being humans. Like, I don't understand it. And I had a conversation with a talent last week who used to be signed to us, who left to go to another agency, quite a big agency. And after 6 months, it's not working out. Cool. Messaged me back. I've fucked up. Please, can I come back? I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's work it out. She's messaged the talent agency to try and get out. And they said, sorry, you cannot terminate your contract until August 2027.
What?
Right?
That
is nearly 2 years away.
That's massive.
Right? That person, that influencer, is now going to resent your entire company. She's not going to want to do any work for them. And alongside that comes so many more emotions and feelings. She'll then have loads of friends in the industry that go, yeah, they're arseholes, they did this, they made me do that. And that company will then lose business off the back of that. I've got so many creators that I work with that may not be signed to me anymore, but I still have a great relationship with them. I talk to them every day. They might be signed with a different agent, but I don't leave anything in a bad way, because you just never know when you're going to need somebody. You never know when somebody's going to need you. And you just don't know what's around the corner. Like, a creator that we work with now could not be right for us, and we end up parting ways, but then they take massive action and change everything they're doing in 3 months' time. I'm like, no, actually, I want to work with you again. So I'm a big advocate for just leaving everything in a really positive, nice way. I don't want to work with people that don't want to work with me. And I think that gives people a real strong feeling of, like, we're real people. The whole reason I started the business, I know we didn't actually say this, but the whole reason I started the business is when my friend was getting into some of these agreements with brands, there was quite a lot of these middleman talent agents. And I would speak to them on his behalf, and I would realise that there was some dodgy business going on here. So I was like, okay, I can see a thread from the brand where they've offered £5,000 for a piece of work, yet you're telling me it's only 1,000. So where's the other £4,000 going in your pocket? So for me, that's why I started the business. And I was just telling creators, like, listen, there's agents out there that are fucking people over. I'm going to show you your contracts, and I'm going to be transparent with you. You can be in the email threads if you want to be. And that's how I onboarded talent, because they were like, right, at least this guy's not going to screw me. And that ethos has led throughout the entire growth of our business, and that's something that we're really known for, is how transparent and trustworthy we are as a business. Every talent sees their contracts. We have a payment policy that's like, if you send me an invoice, I'll pay it the next day. There's no other company that can run and do that, and I actually end up paying so much money every month for an accounts team to do that, because sometimes we're paying 100 invoices a day. And we're not talking like $5,000, we're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds, sometimes millions of pounds a day. So it's like, everything that I set out to do, I've also kept throughout. And that also gives, it gives off a feeling to people that you and if you spoke to a lot of the creators that were on my books, they would say that those things that I say, they're not just said, they're done. Like they're actual it happens, I guess. I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but like, it's reality.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole thing of like invisible PR, like the way you speak to people when you're not on a meeting, when you're not on camera. You know, the little things that you do to make someone feel comfortable goes so far, doesn't it? And you don't know who people know.
But also, someone's friend of a friend of a friend could say, oh, actually, my friend used to work with that person and he's not very nice. I don't think you should go there. And that changes that person's opinion on you straight away when they've never even had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and I may be wrong, but I genuinely don't think I've left any relationship in the business sense on bad terms.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anybody in the industry that has any bad things to say about us or Connect, and that's a good thing.
That's brilliant.
And I'll always operate in that way.
And as we sort of like round up, what would you say has been, if you can think of, the best piece of advice you've received or something that's really stuck with you that you've sort of put into action in your business?
For me, it's just culture is everything. Like, I treat people the way I would expect to be treated myself. I try to leave people better than I found them. That means if I have a conversation with somebody, I want to work out how I can add something of value to their life. Whether that's us meeting and me saying, cool, you know, you're 25, I'm 26. If you've got a struggle, you're going through something in your business and you don't know how to deal with it, call me, give me a voice note. I might have done it or I might have experienced it and I can tell you how to do it. That's all I try to do. So and I think that I've managed to receive so much value off the back of those relationships. And it is a two-way street. Like if you're nice to somebody, at some point they will do something nice back for you. And that's just how I live my life. I go around doing nice things for people. You know, I don't record things. I always buy people lunch, like buy homeless people lunches and this and do all these things. I don't record that. I don't put it online. You'll never see me doing that because that's not who I am. Like I'm not doing it to show off. And, you know, everything that I do in my personal life, I take into my business life. And I feel like if you have good relationships with people, you will always find yourself in the right rooms. And I feel like when I get into a room or when I go to a networking event, because I've got good relationships with people, people are like, oh my God, come and meet this person, come and meet this person. And that's beneficial. Whereas if you're that guy that's like really stuck up and like doesn't want to have a conversation, doesn't want to help out other people, you then walk into that room and you're filled with animosity from everyone else. Like, oh my God, that's the guy that's a real arsehole. So like being nice is your biggest superpower. I care deeply about how people feel about me and I wouldn't want to do something to somebody that would make them feel a certain way negatively towards me, and I'm just very conscious of that.
Have you always been like a people person?
I think so.
Yeah. I think it's just, again, I think you're sort of born with it. You could definitely like exercise the muscle of being more chatty.
In school, I would like, I started off selling sweets, as everyone does, classic. And then I realised one year that all of the girls in my school had these fucking Bath and Body Works hand sanitizers. Do you remember those? Ones that smell like gingerbread and stuff. And I was like, everyone's got them. They're paying like 10 quid for them. Like, I can make some money here. So I sent an email to Bath and Body Works in America and I was I've got a shop in the UK. Can I stock your products? And they literally replied to me saying, yeah, you can have them for 17p a unit, minimum order 2,000. So I was like, oh, I'll take 2,000 then. Took all of my money out of my savings that I'd been from like buying and selling shoes and doing all the things that I'd done growing up. Bought these 2,000 hand sanitizers, and when it turned up at my house, I looked at it and I don't know why I thought 2,000 was not a lot, but when you see 3 boxes full of hand sanitizers, and I'm talking like big cardboard moving boxes, I was like, oh fuck. And I sold every single last one of them. That's amazing. And I think I made like 20 or 30 grand from that.
Wow. You were in school?
Yeah. And I was, you know, that was just an opportunity, like being opportunistic. So, yeah, I feel like I've always had it. People always ask me, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And my answer was always, I want to run my own business. And the follow-up question is, doing what?
I don't know.
I don't know. When it comes, it comes. And I guess this is what has come. I'm a big believer in manifestation. I guess you could say that I've literally manifested being in this position from day one. And, you know, we make people manifest in the office all the time. We do gratitude every Friday that in our end of day meeting, that's like your team should do. It's been so good for us. You have to give gratitude to one person in the office. So you can say, Dana, I'm grateful for you because you came with me to Manchester this week and you filmed BTS content or whatever. And, you know, it's very rare that people are even just nice to each other. And I just really want to create an environment where people are nice.
Love that.
And, you know, there's more chance getting fired in my business for not being a nice person than there would be for fucking up and making mistakes. And that says everything about how I run my business. When I interview, I don't care about experience. Yes, there's an element of some jobs require certain previous roles or whatever, but you could put 10 people that have all got the same experience. I'm not looking at that experience anymore. I'm looking at who you are as a person. What are you like? We'll ask some really bizarre questions to try and just like break the ice and understand what people are like. My favourite interview question is, do you think you're a lucky person? Because
good question.
You'll understand what people's mentality and positivity is like with questions like that. And people go either, I'm really lucky. The best answer I ever had is like, I'm so lucky I'm sitting in a room with you right now. That's like,
that's the right question.
Right? So like, just like everything that I radiate, I then have to make sure that within business, I'm operating in the same way. Otherwise it becomes like a facade. This is not a facade. This is just how I am.
Yeah. And people will quickly see through it, don't they?
100%. Anyone that knows me knows that that's just who I am.
Amazing. I could pick your brain all day. Absolutely amazing. Anything that you want to round off with, like where can people find you and also the business to follow online?
You can find us at Connect Management, at Connect_management, I think. Connect MGT on Instagram. We're actually, so I gave away a car at Christmas. I said to Dana, her target for the year is to get 500,000 followers across all of our platforms. So we got 150,000 on TikTok and about 50,000 on Instagram, so about 200,000. So if we get another 300,000 followers, I said to her, we'll use our marketing budget to buy a random person a car.
Oh, that's so cool.
Follow us because you might get a car. Literally a random person that follows us. And 2, we've got 9 active roles at the moment open for jobs. So if you're a talent manager, if you're in marketing, if you're looking for a job in a cool, fun environment in London, reach out, let us know, because you know we've got 600 CVs, but you never know.
You never know. Well, thank you so much for coming on and for letting me pick your brain. You're incredible.
Thank you so much.
And
you are too.
Thank you. And
anyone that runs a team is incredible because it's not as easy as anybody makes out. And I remember what it was like at 8, and then I remember getting to 10 and then to 20. And I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he said, 20 to 50, just you wait. And then I've done that, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, you can never
it's like
imagine
50 to 100, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Because it takes a lot. And it also requires to just go against everything that anybody else says. Because you're constantly going to get brought down and battled by people that are jealous or don't think you're doing it the right way. It doesn't matter whether they agree with you or not. Just do you and just make sure you treat people in the right way. If you treat people in the right way, you'll get the results that you want to receive in business.
Amen. Kindness is not a weakness.
Amen. It's not a weakness.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Business Class. Bye.